Aloha, it's Asia Iyer, and I'm here with the weekly update from Maui Pono Network. And we took a few weeks break. We all had some vacation, and I had my daughter's wedding and some other things, but we're so excited to be back here with you. And I have some great things to report from the County of Maui, and we're hoping that you're excited to get involved this week because there's some critical things going on. So one of the first things is on the 22nd, which is Thursday, there will be a meeting with the Adept Committee about the community discussion of the list of lands that the county should acquire and keep in conservation. So these are lands that we collectively, all of us in the community, feel like should be preserved in open space. So there is already a really large list that has been submitted. And what happens is it goes through the committee, through the council's committee, and then that's presented to the Conservation Planning Committee, or the CPC is what they've been calling it. And there's a list already available, and that list has come through a lot of nonprofits and community action groups that have looked really closely at the needs for conservation in our county. So that's like the Save the Wetlands, Huli, some of the other environmental groups. They've submitted this list of land that needs to be acquired. Now, just to keep it clear, the money has already been set apart in the budget for the requisition of the conservation land. So they're not asking for money from the budget or from the mayor's office or the administration. The money is already there. They're just trying to prioritize what land should be bought this year, next year, you know, what things should go into the process. So again, there's already a sizable list, but what you can do as a community member is either tune into that meeting or look at the agenda now and find that list and see if there's anything on there that you think should be recommended beyond the list. Is there something that's not on there that should be, or are there parcels on there, pieces of land on there that you feel really strongly that should be conserved, and so they'll be prioritized. So again, those are the two options. The other thing that would be really important to testify about is just the need for us to be efficient and quick with purchasing these, because what's happened in the past is sometimes they've had that money there and then the administration hasn't moved on it quickly enough, or it hasn't come through the committee quick enough, or whatever. So we need to just really support the council in their noble efforts to get a good list put together, to have the research done before it's put on the mayor's desk. Some of the things that I hope to testify about are our need to save wetlands. So there are a lot of parcels on there that are wetlands. And as we've seen with those floods that we've been having over the last 3 years, especially the last 2 years, wetlands are crucial in absorbing that water coming down from the mountains. It's going to protect our reefs, which protects our main economic driver, which is tourism, which is very important for us to have those reefs. But even more importantly than that, it's just our ocean ecosystem needs it. So I'm a big supporter of saving those wetlands and putting those in open space, especially because the planning department has been rubber stamping so many developments and buildings in wetlands. So we're learning that there's no safety. We can make all these laws and regulations, but unless we actually own, as a community, as a county, own those land and keep them in conservation, they're not guaranteed safe. So I'm a big person for that. Also, just preserving open space. Again, it's a huge economic driver for us. Our full economy is our open space, because it's open space through tourism or it's open space through farming. Now, this is conservation land that won't be farmed, but that's what Maui is built on, is it's beauty and it's good weather and it's climate and it's open space, and on the backs of the people, of course. But these are the things that we need to preserve so that our children, grandchildren, all the people who've lived here since time began, they need that open space preserved. So go ahead and testify. So you can send in a written testimony. I would just keep it like, thank you, council, for doing this. Thank you for prioritizing land acquisition, and conservation is important to the people of Maui. I'm sure it's as important or more important to you as it is to me. Okay, so that's coming up on Thursday, the 22nd. Now, the other thing that's happening is on Friday, they're going to discuss again the Water Authority Board. Now, this has been something that Maui Pono Network's been very interested in and promoting and working on over the last elections. It's very close to our heart. It's just keeping water in the hands of the public and making sure that it's utilized well, it's utilized efficiently, and it's utilized ethically, right? So that we're not wasting water, we're not, that corporations and farmers and residents and tourist accommodations aren't using the water improperly, or, there's all sorts of things that are going on. And we did vote for a charter amendment to have this water authority, this community-led water authority. So a few lists have been put forward. The applications have come in. Councilmember Shane Sinenci's list is the list that we really want to support. So there's some really good people on there. It's a good balance. There's a couple problems I have with the list as a whole that all of us have discussed that we struggle with, and these may not be your concerns, but there are not very many women on the list. So is it really a community representative group if we're only representing the men? You know, but there are a few women that have been proposed, and they're really that's important. The other thing is, you know, there's probably going to be a fight here. We have that faction in the council, so we have like the more like environmentally progressive council members, and then we have some of the newcomers, and then we have more of the establishment, you know, make decisions who's where or whatever on that. But I think there's going to be some fights. There's one for the Huelo area. The nominees are Lucienne Dene and Darren Strand. So Lucienne Dene, I'm sure everybody knows who she is. She's just this like warrior for water here on Maui, just out there. She's in the trenches, she's in the gulches, she's been around for decades, just watching over these things, and really is an expert in all things water here on Maui. And she's up against Darren Strand, who worked for the Maui Gold Pineapple Company. I think he was president or vice president. And then he was working for A&B, and now he's working with Mahi Pono. And then for the last 6 months, we don't know who he's working for. Totally nice guy, great, but just some concerns here. Like, where is he out in the community? Are we seeing him out there in the ditches, measuring water? Is this who we want representing the community? I don't want to pass a judgment. Obviously, you can tell how I feel about it. And I think that Maui Pono Network can kind of say the same thing. Lucienne Dene is the expert and the community member and volunteer that's going to do a great job on this authority. Darren Strand, we don't know, because we don't really see him in public voicing his opinions about water and about the ethical and efficient use of water. So I like to put my money where I know it's going to go well, and I'm putting my support towards a known entity who's been out there in the community. So that's something that you could testify about. Again, this is a good time to just give pats on the back to the council members, so the Maui County Council members, for taking this seriously and for recognizing this is an important thing for the community. So, you know, just make sure we're supportive of them. I don't think anyone wants to feel attacked or that they've already made a bad decision, because they haven't made the decisions yet. But just a real friendly support, and those are kind of my points I'm going for, and you might have your own points. You can look up those agendas for both of those meetings, for the meeting on the 22nd and the meeting on Friday on the Maui County's website. So lots of other things going on. Next week, we're hoping to report more about the South Maui Community Plan Advisory Committee, because there's been some crazy stuff going on. But we're waiting for Maui News to break their story. We know the information they have. We're just waiting for them to get it out there. So when that comes, watch for that. Again, we're still watching the South Maui Community Action Committee to see what happens. So we're excited to talk to you next week. Thank you for being involved. Thanks for watching our video. If you have any questions or comments, Facebook page, Instagram, email us back. We love hearing from the community. We've really appreciated when people have been writing to us and leaving comments. So again, I'm Asia Iyer with Maui Pono Network, and we're just trying to keep you informed, and thanks for being involved. Aloha.